door knocking program, for example, in Wisconsin. It also helps Ron Johnson, who's running for Senate. It helps the congressional candidates. If you're doing it in Kelly Ayotte's New Hampshire, it helps her. So we're being really good team players here. We're very happy. We've got a great working relationship with Reince Priebus and the RNC. They've been spectacular to us.
So clearly, though, the candidate, Donald Trump, does not believe Paul Ryan is being a good team player. Does he believe Paul Ryan should be Speaker of the House come January?
Well, Paul Ryan is Speaker of the House, and that is up to the members of the caucus. We're not, but Donald Trump is not running for a congressman from Manhattan where he would actually vote on Speaker. So, but I appreciate the good wishes that we're actually going to be the next president of the United States and that we'll have to work with the Speaker. We want a Republican majority in the House and the Senate. There's no question. But the bigger issue is that we're communicating directly with voters. For those members of Congress that endorse us, terrific. For those that don't, we're still winning voters in their states. So for everybody who doesn't want to endorse Donald Trump and doesn't even want to support him, they should realize he actually has a connection to their voters. Look at all the states. Look at these senators who aren't endorsing him. We're doing well in most or all of those states. Some of them aren't even competitive.
As someone who works in GOP politics for a living, though, are you concerned at all that Donald Trump could be hurting the party down or burning the party down, not just this year, but for cycles to come? I mean, if there's a Republican civil war for the next 4 weeks and Donald Trump does poorly with women or minorities on Election Day, doesn't that risk hurting the party for years?
So we're working very closely with the RNC. I mean, the hand in glove. I talked to Reince Priebus several times a day. Sean Spicer is here today. Katie Walsh is here often, the chief of staff there. I mean, we have that is the party, and we have a great relationship with the party. In fact, the party has provided so much of the ground game and field operation and data operation to supplement what we already had when I got here and what we're building on, that we literally are doing it with them in these swing states. The RNC is the party, and the RNC is also helping these candidates, and we're helping them to raise money and frankly to field a candidate that's bringing in new voters in some of their states.
So when Donald Trump says on Twitter that he's glad the shackles are off, that he feels unshackled, what was he referring to specifically? When was he shackled, or who was he shackled or muzzled by?
So he gave an interview this evening to Fox News Channel's Bill O'Reilly, and I think he explained some of that, Anderson, where Mr. Trump said that he gets some people's endorsements and then they take them back, and then they beg him for his endorsement, he gives it in the primaries, and then they waver. And so, you know, that's just not Donald Trump. Donald Trump, among wishy-washy people who decide one day they want him and they want his endorsement, they support him, and the next day they don't. It's much better for him to take the message directly to the people. We welcome all Republican endorsements, no question. We'd be happy to have that. We'd be happy to have more fair treatment in the media. But I'm not going to find unicorns on my doorstep tomorrow either. So in the meantime, we're just going to continue to go with him as a master communicator and connector directly to the voters.
Monica Langley of the Wall Street Journal is reporting tonight that Donald Trump's strategy is essentially two-pronged, that he's trying to use the split in the GOP to rally his base and trying to depress Democratic turnout. Do you believe that that is enough to win? Do you believe you can depress Democratic turnout by going after Hillary Clinton, by going after Bill Clinton?
Well, I think Hillary Clinton's been depressing Democratic turnout. My goodness, why is this woman at 46%? She's like the magic 46. She's 46% in the new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. She's 46% in a lot of these swing states. And pardon me, well, Anderson, she's running as the first female president who has a sitting president and first lady, much more popular than she'll ever be.
Your candidate is below 40%.
She's got Is that a question?
Well, you're saying 46% is bad, but 37%
you asked me about
is
Hillary
worse.
Clinton. You asked me if I thought, right, yes, no, one needs not be a pollster to know that, but here's the deal. I'm asking you why someone who has all these advantages, you're asking me how we win. And if Hillary Clinton can't enthuse her base and her turnout enough, can she win? She still doesn't have the Sanders voters. They're still angry at her, and they're more angry now than ever, knowing that how she insulted them recently. They're not going to be happy about all the pay-to-play that was released today between the DOJ and Friends of Bill, FOBs. If you're a friend of Bill, you can get in on those Haiti earthquake relief contracts. How disgusting. We should be focused on the Haiti earthquake victims, not on what contracts your company should get. If you're a friend of Bill, go read it. It was released today. I know it's not exciting news for everyone, but I'm sure the viewers will see it. And you're asking me how she can win, and I'm asking you, I'm completely perplexed by somebody who has most of the mainstream media for her, well, all the mainstream media, most of the media for her. She's got a sitting president, a sitting first lady, far more popular than she'll ever hope to be, a former president, also her husband, a sitting vice president. She's got 1,000 people working in Brooklyn. She has all these states locked up, and she can't crack 50% and stay there. So we know we can do it.
So you believe by bringing up the Bill Clinton's past, by bringing up what you say is enabling by Hillary Clinton, is part of that strategy to lower Democratic turnout?
It's part of the strategy to remind people of who Hillary Rodham Clinton actually is. If others aren't going to hold her account for her full record, then yes, we will. And her record includes naming and blaming women who came in contact with her husband, whether it was consensual relationships like Monica Lewinsky, an intern of the White House, with him as president, completely debasing the office of the White House, the office of the presidency, or Jennifer Flowers' 12-year affair while he was governor of Arkansas, or these women who he sexually assaulted: Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones. He settled a sexual harassment case for $850,000 for Paula Jones in $1998. Anderson, the last time I didn't sexually harass somebody here at the campaign, I didn't pay him $850,000.
Your client, your candidate, has settled numerous lawsuits without admitting any guilt on a whole number of things. Are you implying that settling a lawsuit is implying guilt? Because if so, it means that your candidate is guilty of an awful lot of things, no?
For that, really, as governor of Arkansas, using state troopers to procure
I'm saying you're saying settling a lawsuit is questionable and raising questions about guilt. Your client settles lawsuits all the time, even though he says he doesn't, right?
No, what I'm saying is, what was Hillary Clinton's conduct toward those women? The New York Times.
You're implying something about settling a lawsuit implies guilt. So does not Donald Trump has settled numerous lawsuits, including the racial discrimination lawsuit years ago, without accepting any guilt. Are you saying that there maybe is some guilt there?
I'm saying that I believe Paula Jones is what I'm saying, and I believe that $14,000 a year Arkansas state employee being brought up to the governor's hotel room and him exposing herself, as all the evidence said. What's relevant about this to Hillary Clinton? It's very simple. It's the way she treated these women after the fact. It is the way she blamed and shamed the women. Read the New York Times piece from about 10 days ago, Anderson. It was terrific, because days after the New York Times endorsed Hillary Clinton for president, they turned around and talked about the way Hillary Clinton and her cohorts always went after these women. The other person I just want everybody to know as a household name is Kathy Shelton. She was raped at the age of 12, and Hillary Clinton defended her, defended the rapist, got him off in a plea deal, and then a year later laughed about the tactics. This is before the rape shield laws were on the books in Arkansas.
Donald Trump has made this very front and center, and we've covered this a lot. My question is, do you believe that's going to depress Democratic vote? And clearly you do, because you believe this is a strategy that's wise to pursue.
So I believe the voters should know who Hillary Clinton is, and I'll let them decide whether it's enough for them to stay home or come to the polls. But they ought to know, if others aren't going to tell them. I want Kathy Shelton to become a household name, because it is a disgusting case, and it shows it's always Hillary first. Even if there's a 12-year-old rape victim involved, always Hillary first. Right.
She was acting as a public defender, which is in our Constitution. But
she didn't need to laugh the next day, the next year, about the tactics.
Donald Trump told Bill O'Reilly tonight that women have been coming up to him in recent days saying they've heard what he's dismissing as locker room talk over the years. Does that depress you, that this is so common that a lot of women are coming up to Donald Trump saying they've heard this all the time?
Did you say, does it depress me?
Yeah. That so many American women have heard, allegedly heard men talk about sexual assault?
Well, if you're talking to me about the coarsening of our culture, yes, I can say that. Particularly as a mother of 4 small children, I can talk about the coarsening of the culture, but I'm sure that's not why we're discussing this. I will tell you, Monica Langley's own piece that you keep citing, and I'm glad you have her on your panel tonight, she also was noting in her piece that the number of Republicans who wanted Donald Trump to step aside over the weekend has really lessened. In the latest Wall Street Journal NBC poll, she says in there that he may have stopped the bleeding from this. Yes, if we want to talk about the coarsening of the culture, I hope you devote a whole 2 hours for it, and I'd be happy to be a guest, but I'll also offer up some other guests. I don't appreciate many of the things that are said in our political discourse. I don't appreciate many things that are said on social media. You and I are attacked every single day, I'm sure. I hardly read it. I never knew I was so stupid or so ugly until there was social media. Anderson, I'm sure the same. So yes, if we're going to talk about lyrics, well, yes, but again, don't let it rock your world. I know you don't. So that as it relates to a presidential campaign, why can't we talk about the issues? I was really just amazed that Team Hillary, after everything came out the other night that they said, well, she just wants to talk about the issues. She wants to have a debate about the issues. Really? Is that what their ads are about? Is that what the filth is they peddle every day about my candidate Donald Trump is about? They want to talk about the issues.
But let's just be
talk
clear.
about Obamacare.
The reason this has been making headlines is because Donald Trump was discussing and bragging about sexual assault 11 years ago on a bus. I mean, it's not Hillary Clinton who put those words in his mouth.
Anderson, first of all, in case anybody's wondering, because they'll somehow read my mind after this broadcast, I have said my opinion on that, as expressed privately and publicly, is a combination of Donald Trump's, Melania Trump's, and Mike Pence's statements from the weekend. I find those comments to be disgusting and reprehensible, and I'm really glad that he apologized. And I think when somebody seeks mercy and forgiveness and means it, and I was with him the entire time, including when he learned of this, then people ought to think about that. They ought to think about when somebody asks you for forgiveness and is contrite and for mercy, are you willing to give it?
To say on the radio that it's okay to call his daughter, you know, a nice piece of, you know what, I mean...
Yeah, I see that all over CNN. I don't know if you're trying to drive a wedge between those two, but good luck, because they're incredibly close. They have a beautiful relationship.
No, I'm just saying, why would a father say that about his own daughter? That I don't understand.
Anderson, I guess the question I have is, why can't CNN cover Obamacare and ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism? And why can't you cover the fact that no, you don't. No, respectfully, you don't. 94 million people out of the workforce, 12.4 million women without health. You don't want to cover it now. You want to talk over it. You don't even want to cover it now. You don't want to hear that there are over 16 million women in poverty on President Obama's watch. And Hillary Clinton, who's been fighting for women and children for 30 years, where is the deliverable? Where is the product?
You clearly don't want to address what your candidate said about his own daughter, or allowed others to say about his own daughter in front of him, which I think a lot of people think is kind of odd.
I've addressed it many times. I've addressed it many times. I've addressed what he said this weekend many times.
I haven't heard you address the thing on Howard Stern about a nice piece of, you know...
You want me to address something he said on Howard Stern 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but you don't want to talk about the fact that Hillary Clinton defended a rapist successfully, and I want everybody to remember the name Kathy Shelton. She deserves a hearing. I know CNN did not want to put her on CNN the other night when she was in the debate hall. I thought it was incredibly courageous and brave of her to be there.
Right. I should just point out, we did an entire piece on that case just last night.
Keep running
going
it.
all
It's
the
great.
details. All right. Kellyanne Conway, I always do appreciate you being on. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to listen in for any news from the Trump rally tonight and get the panel's take on all of this right after a quick break.